Welcome back to Film Snob HQ. We're still on the road to Doomsday. We are almost halfway through the second phase of the MCU, the Disney films. In terms of our place in the third era, which started with Amazing Spider-Man, we're about halfway through. Working very, very well here. We talked about Iron Man 3, we talked about Amazing Spider-Man, we talked about Wolverine or The Wolverine. So now we're going back to the MCU with a film that is widely considered one of the least popular films. I think it was the first real stumbling block for the MCU. I know people say they don't like Iron Man 2, but I think that's more retroactive. I don't think that was the case when it first came out. At least I didn't hear much about it. So the first film that people really didn't like, apparently, is Thor: The Dark World. Here's my gorgeous Mondo Steelbook. I really like this film. I liked it when it first came out. I couldn't understand the complaints about it. People feel that it's underdeveloped. They feel that the villain is bad. Like, yes, Malekith is not the most complex villain, but I don't mind a villain who's not complex. It's a revenge story. That's what this film is. He got beaten by Bor, Odin's father, centuries ago. Now he wants his revenge, and he wants his weapon back. That's fine. I'm cool with that. The cast returns. We've got Natalie Portman, Chris Hemsworth. We've got Anthony Hopkins, Tom Hiddleston, of course. We have Zachary Levi taking over the role as Fandral, I think his name is, one of the Warriors 3. We have Jamie Alexander back, Kat Dennings back, and we have the wonderful Christopher Eccleston as Malekith. And I would say in that form, yes, that character's underutilized because Christopher Eccleston's just a wonderful actor and it would have been nice to get more out of him. But as far as the story goes, I like it. Visually, it's stunning. Alan Taylor manages to build on the beauty that Kenneth Branagh set up in the first film and expand on it. We get some wonderful kind of like science fiction via Shakespeare moments with, these giant axe blade ships going through and this amazing, dark, desolate desert, which should be boring to look at, but is stunning. We get a fantastic character arc for Loki in particular. The last time we saw him was at the end of Avengers after he lost in the Battle of New York. And he goes from starting the film as a villain to kind of becoming a hero and then being a little bit cheeky again by the end of it. Everyone's really good in it. This is my favorite performance of Chris Hemsworth as Thor so far out of the 3 films we've seen. So between Thor, Avengers, and The Dark World, this is my favorite performance he gives. And I think his look is the best in this one as well. The dyed eyebrows and beard was too much for me in the first film. There's not really too much to expand on in terms of what the film's about and kind of how it is. It's the second installment. I think it's greatly misunderstood. I think people didn't realize what this film's purpose was. It wasn't just the next Thor story. It's setting up not only Avengers Age of Ultron, but it's setting up Infinity War as well. This is the first film where the phrase Infinity Stones is mentioned. It's in the post-credit sequence, but it is mentioned. The Ether is the third Infinity Stone we've seen. We know that about the Tesseract. We didn't know that the stone in Loki's scepter was the Mind Stone at the time. At least, I don't think people did. And then the Ether is the third, even though it's not a stone. It's like a liquid space goo. So we're now 3 Infinity Stones in. So this film is setting up not only Age of Ultron, but also Infinity War, and it's teasing Thor Ragnarok, which we wouldn't know it was going to be called that for quite a while. And I'll talk more about Ragnarok when we get there, but I do feel like the ending of this film is such a great cliffhanger, and they didn't quite do anything with it. For all the praise Ragnarok gets, and I'll explain my complex feelings about it when we get there, I think it dropped the ball in a few places. This is also the last time we're going to see grandiose Shakespearean Asgard. We're never going to see it like this again. Ragnarok, we spend very little time there, and that film is mostly a comedy. So we're not going to get too much of that anymore. And it gets very like kind of retro 80s space kind of space opera thing. So it's cool, but it's just very different. We also get the Collector in the post-credit sequence as well. But yeah, it's fun. I like it. I just think it's really underappreciated. I feel like a lot of the films in Phase 2 are misunderstood. Everyone focuses on Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Guardians of the Galaxy, and rightfully so. But Thor: The Dark World, Iron Man 3, and Avengers Age of Ultron are really good films. They just, people are overly critical of them. Winter Soldier's a perfect film. It's probably the best film Marvel have made. But anyway, we'll get to that. We're going to get to that next, actually. So before we talk about that, in terms of new characters returning, there's not really anyone new in this except for Curse, the kind of giant dark elf monster, and Malekith. I would like to see Malekith return. I want to see different villains come back. I don't want to see the same villains I've seen before. So I want to see some more second chances, and I think Malekith would be interesting, especially because I think, would be an interesting foe working with Doom in terms of magic usage and stuff like that. But beyond that, we've talked about all the other characters before. I think Thor's coming back. I would like Jane Foster Thor to come back as well. Yeah. Anyway, that's Thor: The Dark World. Give it a second chance. And if you haven't seen it, don't listen to the critics. Give it a chance and see what you think. There's some really great stuff in there. And the action's really good. And yeah, it's just a really underappreciated flick. I've said that like 4 times now. Next up, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.